welcome back to the channel, and for those of you who perhaps haven't seen my previous two videos, my name is Emma and I record videos on minimalism and simple living. This time I wanted to speak about books because I'm a massive bookworm, and I know there's lots of you out there too who just absolutely love a good physical book collection, and I was exactly the same. I once had possibly about 5 shelves of books that were just crammed. If you imagine every single row, which was practically bowing under the weight of all my paperbacks and all my hardbacks, and then on top of the books themselves there was even more stacked on top. And as you can imagine, I hadn't even read most of these in all of the years that I'd owned them, and some of them I'd actually read once, but I'd not touched them in the years since. But I stored them because I wanted to show everybody that I was this book person and to show off how much reading I'd done. Nobody actually took any notice because, to be honest, nobody does. And the books that I hadn't read were always at the back of my mind, like, oh, I should read that one soon. That one I got halfway through and now I have to start again because I've forgotten what it was about. And yeah, was not very good really. So when I became a minimalist, one of the first things that I started to go through and to par down was my book collection, and I've actually managed to get it down to only a handful of my favourites, which I'll just show you right now. So these are the books that I currently own. I've got 3 books on counselling because I'm doing counselling courses. One of those is a library book. I've got a couple on minimalism. I actually had more than this, but I've just recently decluttered a few more that I hadn't touched in a while. Got some Anthony Moore there because I absolutely love reading Anthony Moore. And a book on Zen. This book belongs to my husband, so isn't actually mine. This one I'm in the middle of reading. My friend got me that as a gift because I absolutely love my anime and my zombies. And my books were actually quite difficult to part with at first because they felt like old friends. But the more I got rid of, the easier I felt it actually was to pick something to read. Because when you're faced with a lot of choice, whether that's on Netflix, with video games, or with books, one of the things you'll find is it's very hard to choose what it is that you want to read. And I think we've all spent about 15-20 minutes trying to choose something to watch, to read, or to play, only to go, nah, I don't think I can be bothered anymore. And that's called decision fatigue. You run out of energy to make a decision, so you don't make any decision at all. So the answer to that is to downsize and par down, so you've only got 1 or 2 choices, or just a handful of choices. In my case, I'm still paring down even further. One of the things that helped me to par down my book collection was having a Kindle. So I got a Kindle as a gift a few years ago, and the books that I'm not so bothered about displaying, that I just knew I was going to read once, I will read them on my Kindle, and the space that they take up is just in bytes of data, no physical space required. But just like most bookworms out there, I do absolutely love the feel of a good physical hardback. I don't think that you can actually beat the feeling of the smell or the feel of a physical book that you actually love. So what I did was I only kept the books that I absolutely love, that I will read more than once. So the books that I've got here, all of these, apart from the zombie one and apart from my husband's, I actually have read more than once and I keep going back to. My course ones I do need to keep going back to. And sometimes I will reread my favourite minimalism authors like Fumio Sasaki and Francine Jay's The Joy of Less. Sometimes when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I go back to these books and they help me feel lighter. This book is my absolute favourite because it helped me to become a minimalist in the first place. And this one is my another favourite because it shows you that there is so much more to life than just working yourself silly and being surrounded by stuff that you didn't need in the first place. And this is another minimalist favourite of mine, Goodbye Things by Fumio Sasaki, because it helps me to declutter even more and to show me that I can actually go further in my minimalism, and I didn't need half of what I was telling myself I did. With my books that I choose to keep, I tend to keep hardback versions of them because I find them very beautiful and I love to hold them in my hand, and because I go back to a few times, I find that hardbacks tend to last longer. But I know not to have an attachment to them. So I think that if they was ever destroyed in a disaster, or if I ever lost these books, I wouldn't feel so sad, because I know I can get them again if I really needed to. They've brought me so much joy over the years. And if I were to get rid of them, I could pass that information and that joy onto somebody else who could get just as much value out of them as I have. One of the reasons why we keep so much stuff in a collection, whether that's books, cards, video games, or anything else that you can think of, is because we like to show people who we are, and we like to project a certain image. So somebody who wants to be seen as really smart, for example, might have lots of philosophical books on their shelves and trophies or anything which shows that to another person coming into the house. Somebody who wanted to be portrayed as, say, a gamer, a massive gamer like I used to want to be portrayed as, might have shelves and shelves and collections of games and peripherals and figurines just to project an image. But the thing to remember is nobody else is actually taking notice of all of that stuff. You're the only one who notices it at the end of the day. Everybody is so wrapped up in their own lives trying to project their own image of themselves to worry about the image that you're trying to project. So why not make your life easier? Make your decisions easier. Give yourself less stuff to worry about. My 1-year-old daughter is wanting to have a look at what I'm doing at the moment, so I'll just show her off to you. This is my 1-year-old daughter, Erin. Say hi. So I hope that you got some kind of value out of this video. And you can hear my kids are going a bit crazy over there. So that's all for now, and I'll see you next time. If you're interested in this video and would like to see similar content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.